the Bible talks about right here. Where is it? The Bible talks about in Colossians 2:23. It says, let's go to the whole verse, Colossians 2:23 for a moment. And this is what ones and ones want you. Just humble thyself, humble thyself. How can we humble ourselves to ones who say that His Imperial Majesty is our God and King of Kings, and yet they contradict what His Imperial Majesty teaches? What His Imperial Majesty clearly, simply, you understand, reveals to us about keeping the 10 Commandments. His Imperial Majesty is the one who says that the Bible is our rallying point. His Imperial Majesty says that the Bible is our rallying point. Not what this group say here, so-called mansion, or this house over here says, but it must all agree with what His Imperial Majesty teaches. Otherwise, there's problems. You understand? There's problems for those who are putting forward a false gospel or a false good news. And the word gospel and good news is used by His Imperial Majesty. So I don't know how come some so-called Rastas resist that unless they have been infected, you understand, and have become black devils themselves. You understand? That's why it says right here, it says, let no man beguile you. Don't let nobody beguile you in Colossians 2:18. Don't let no man fool you. You understand, of your reward. The reward that we have truly as Rastafari, not as abbreviation. You understand? Because if you only accept half the truth of His Imperial Majesty, you can only get half a reward at best, if that much. So let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility, a voluntary humble thy. Just humble thyself, humble. You understand what it means? Is they want to humiliate you. You understand? That's the strategy of the devils. They want to deceive you, and then after you deceive, they wash your their hands of you. You understand? They wash their hands of you, and you're left as a deceiver. You said, but you told me this, you know, and they tricked you basically. So let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility and worshiping of angels, intruding into those things which he hath not seen. Those things which he hath not seen, those things that he doesn't even know. Vainly, the word says, puffed up. And it's interesting because the word uses this word puffed up in a few cases, as it does, I think, in what is it Titus or is it Timothy, where it talks about a novice, one who is a just come, should not be a bishop or something like that, or should not have authority within the congregation or within the mansion or within the gathering. You understand? You know, puffed up. And the word puffed up actually does mean and refers to smoke. You understand? Even in the word, because they use smoke and incense back in the biblical times. You understand? Vainly puffed up by his fleshy mind. And see, the fleshy mind is the carnal mind. One particular individual, Ras Jamal, tried to say that Rastafari don't want no carnal mind. Of course, His Imperial Majesty don't want no carnal mind. That's why he said that the Bible is the rallying point for all humanity, and this includes you and me. You understand? All the sons and daughters of men. You understand? All of humanity. But see, many are puffed up by their own fleshy mind, and then they'll go around saying that Rastafari don't want no carnal mind, while they're the very ones caught up in a carnal mind and don't even understand what carnal mind means. They'll go around boasting natural. I is natural, and don't recognize that the natural man does not perceive the things of God. You understand? He cannot perceive the iretical things, as you would say, or the spiritual things. Colossians 2:19 goes on to say, and not holding the head. They're not holding on to the ras. They're not holding on to the true head. You understand? From which all the body, that means us as the members, all the body by joints and bands, having nourishment, ministereth and knit together. This is what brings our unity. So when people say, well, how come we're not united? Because one's not holding the head. Some don't even know who and of what the head really consists of. You see? Knit together. We're knit together because of the head. And increaseth with the increase of God. You know what I'm saying? So as God giveth, we can increase. But if you're not holding the head, then you cannot increase with the increase of God. You're going to have to now increase with the worldly things. You understand? And trim your glory, as Jeremiah 2:33 says. You're to trim your glory to be loved by the world and worldliness. Colossians 2:20 says, wherefore, if y'all be dead with Christ from the rudiments of the world, from the worldly ways of seeing things, if you are dead with him, you understand, from the worldliness, why, as though living in the world, are you subject to ordinances? You understand? You're living in the world, Babylon the world, and you're still subject to ordinances. And we could get into that, the detail, because a lot of people misunderstand this right here, but it goes on to say in the 21st verse, touch not, taste not, handle not, which all are to perish with the using, after the commandments and doctrines of men. It's not speaking about the commandments in the Bible. See, a lot of people think when it says this right here, it's speaking about the law that's in the Bible, the law of God. The law of God is not the commandments and doctrines of men. There's a total difference right there. Verse 23, to conclude this chapter right here, says, which things have indeed a shew, or like a show of wisdom, in will worship, in what you will to worship. You understand? In what you will to worship, and humility, and neglecting of the body. Like I read somewhere on the internet, someone said that, yeah, Rastafaris take a vow of poverty or something like that. Who says these things? Who says these things? Who says these things? Who says these things?